Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalam ali israfil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Yang terhormat Dekan FKIP UHAMKA Bapak Dr. Desvian Bandarsyah MPD. Yang kami hormati Wakil Dekan 1 FKIP UHAMKA Ibu Dr. Sri Astuti MPD, Wakil Dekan 2 FKIP UHAMKA Dr. Samsul Ma'arif MPD, Wakil Dekan 3 FKIP UHAMKA Bapak Hari Naredi MPD, Wakil Dekan 4 FKIP UHAMKA Bapak Muhammad Dwi Fajri MPD, Bapak Ibu Kaprodi dan Sekprodi di lingkungan FKIP UHAMKA, dan yang terhormat Bapak Ibu dosen di lingkungan FKIP UHAMKA, baik yang hadir di sidang A, sidang B, dan yang berada di ruang Zoom, serta rekan-rekan mahasiswa FKIP UHAMKA, baik yang berada di ruang Zoom ataupun di YouTube.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'in wala umuri dunya waddin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wa mursalin wa ala alihi haqqa qadrihi wa miqdaril azim. Amma ba'd. The Honorable Dr. Desvian Bandarsyah MPD, the Dean of FKIP UHAMKA, the Honorable Dr. Sri Astuti MPD, the First Vice Dean of FKIP UHAMKA, the Honorable Dr. Samsul Ma'arif MPD, the Second Vice Dean of FKIP UHAMKA, the Honorable Mr. Hari Naredi MPD, the Third Vice Dean of FKIP UHAMKA, the Honorable Mr. Muhammad Dwi Fajri MPD, the Fourth Vice Dean of FKIP UHAMKA, and our Honorable Speaker, Professor Petomira Ivanova, PhD from Sofia University, St. Clement Ohridski, Bulgaria. Respectable to all researcher, lecturer, and all participants in FKIP UHAMKA.
Puji dan syukur kita panjatkan kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala yang telah memberikan from Teknologi Image Learning oleh Profesor Vitomiria Ivanova, PhD dari program Erasmus Plus Sofia University, St. Clement Ohridski, Bulgaria. Sebelum memulai acara, izinkan saya untuk membacakan susunan acara pada hari ini, yaitu yang pertama pembukaan, yang kedua pembacaan kalam ilahi, yang ketiga mendengarkan lagu Indonesia Raya dan Mars Muhammadiyah, sambutan oleh Bapak Dekan FKIP UHAMKA, pemaparan materi oleh Profesor Vitomiria Ivanova, PhD, dan kemudian penutup serta foto sesi bersama.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise be to Allah, the Lord of the world. Salawat and salam are always poured out to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Peace be upon him, and may we all get his intercession. Amin. Today, in the context of the visiting Professor for Technology and Change Learning by Professor Petomira Ivanova, PhD, Erasmus Plus Sofia University, St. Clement Ohridski, Bulgaria program. Before starting the event, allow me to read out our schedule for today. We begin with the opening, and the second is reciting of the Holy Al-Quran. The third is listening the song of Indonesia Raya and Mars Muhammadiyah. And then the greeting speech from the Dean of FKIP UHAMKA. The fifth is the presentation of material by Professor Vitomiria Ivanova, PhD. And the sixth is closing and photo session together.
Memasuki acara yang pertama, pembacaan kalam ilahi oleh Bapak Irfan. Kepada Bapak Irfan dipersilakan.
Beginning this session, reciting the Holy Al-Quran by Mr. Irfan Maulana. To Mr. Irfan Maulana, the stage is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي يبشر المؤمنين ويبشر المؤمنين الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا كبيرا وأن الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة أعتدنا لهم عذابا أليما ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه بالخير وكان الإنسان عجولا ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه كان الإنسان عجولا صدق الله. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sadaqallahul-azim. Semoga yang membacakan dan mendengarkan mendapatkan limpahan rahmat dari Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Selanjutnya, mendengarkan lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya dan Mars Muhammadiyah. Dimohon para hadirin yang hadir di sidang A dan sidang B untuk berdiri dan ikut menyanyikan.
Next agenda, singing the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, and continuing by Mars Muhammadiyah. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up.
Jangan
Hadirin dipersilakan untuk duduk kembali. Selanjutnya, sambutan oleh Bapak Dekan FKIP UHAMKA kepada Bapak Dr. Desvian Bandarsyah MPD. Disilahkan.
Our next agenda, greeting speech from the Dean of Education and Teacher Training Faculty, Mr. Dr. Desvian Bandarsyah MPD. To Mr. Dr. Desvian Bandarsyah MPD, the stage is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'in ala umuri dunya waddin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh la nabiyya ba'dah. Allahumma sholli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Amma ba'du. Honorable Professor Vitomira Ivanova, PhD, from program Erasmus Plus Sofia University Saint Clement, Ohridsky, Bulgaria. Welcome to FKIP from at visiting Professor for Technology Enhanced Learning. Thank you. Deputy Dean of Faculty of Teachers Training and Education, the Head of International Relationship, Mr. Purnama Saifur Rahman, PhD. Thank you, Mr. Purnama Saifur Rahman. The Head and Secretary of Study Program of Faculty of Teacher Training and Education of the University of Muhammadiyah, Professor Dr. Hamka. And all invited lecturer and participant of this visiting professor program. Good morning. On behalf of the faculty, I'm pleased to welcome Prof. Ivanova, PhD, to the Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, University of Muhammadiyah, Professor Dr. Hamka. Our faculty has been very concerned with all programs that can contribute to the better education, not only in Indonesia, but also in international context. For that, we have run various international programs and built partnership and collaboration with a number of universities in different countries, including Sofia University, Bulgaria. We have strong commitment to keep improving the quality of learning. Technology has been a crucial aspect which has been integrated in the learning activities. This program is intended to enrich the lecture knowledge and perspective on technology enhanced learning. Learning technology approach is a framework to develop learning that can encourage a better learning process in accordance with the changes of the era. Advanced in digital technology that are connected to the learning process will certainly make learning interesting without losing the meaning of education, which is approached with a strong pedagogic approach. I hope it can be beneficial for all the participants. Finally, enjoy the program and get as many lessons as possible. Thank you. Nasru minallah wa fatun qarib wa basyiril mu'minin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Dekan FKIP UHAMKA untuk sambutannya sekaligus membuka acara seminar kali ini. Sebelum masuk ke acara inti, dimohon untuk Ibu Bapak yang hadir di sidang A dan di sidang B untuk foto sesi bersama terlebih dahulu bersama Bapak Dekan, Bapak Wakil Dekan, dan narasumber kita kali ini, Profesor Vetomiria Ivanova, PhD.
Thank you to Dr. Desvian Bandarsha, MPD, for the speech. Move to the next agenda.
Udah. Resmi dulu. Sensei diatur resmi dulu.
Baik Bapak dan Ibu, baik yang berada di sidang A, sidang B, ataupun yang berada di ruang Zoom, serta adik-adik mahasiswa baik yang berada di ruang Zoom ataupun yang berada di YouTube, kita masuk ke acara inti, yaitu pemaparan materi oleh Profesor Vetomiria Ivanova, PhD, dan akan dimoderatori oleh Mr. Silihwarni, PhD, Kaprodi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris, FKIP UHAMKA. Kepada
Move to the next agenda, our main event, the speech from the keynote speaker, Professor Sevtomiria Ivanova, PhD from Sofia University, St. Clement, Ohridski, Bulgaria. This presentation will be handed to our respected moderator, Mr. Silihwarni, PhD, the head of English Education Department of FKIP UHAMKA, to Mr. Silihwarni, PhD, and Professor Svetomiria Ivanova, PhD. We invite the two of you to the stage, and the golden hour is yours.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for inviting me to Indonesia. Okay. Okay, he has to introduce me first. Please introduce me.
All right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Izin Bapak Ibu semua ya, kita menggunakan pengantar bahasa Inggris. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa min tabi'in ihsan ila yaumidin amma ba'd. Honorable, our Dean of Faculty of Teachers Training and Education, Bapak Dr. Despian Bandarsha, MPD, and the Vice Dean concerning Academic Affairs, Ibu Dr. Sri Astuti, MPD, and we've got also the Vice Dean concerning the Financial Affairs, Bapak Dr. Samsum Arif, MPD, and then we've got Vice Dean concerning Students Affairs, Bapak Harina Reddy, and the last Vice Dean, yeah, concerning Islamic values in this university, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Ri Fajri. Today it's really our great pleasure to have our honorable speaker. Yeah, we've got Dr. Professor Svetomira Ivanova, PhD. Yeah. Before we go further to our seminar, allow me to introduce our speaker today. Yeah. We've got Professor Svetomira Ivanova from Sofia University, St. Clement, Ohridski, particularly from Department of Japanese Studies. Is that correct? Yeah. Here in UHAMKA, we also have Japanese department with Rita Sensei as the department head. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's a good beginning for us to go further. And as we know, as also Pak Dekan mentioned at the beginning, that technology has been a crucial part of education, and this faculty with 12 study programs have been really serious and working hard to make sure that all the lecturers could utilize, could enhance the learning through the use of technology. For that reason, then we've been working on enhancing the lecturers' capacity, and at this occasion, we hope that Professor, give me some time to remember your name, Professor Ivanova to share perspectives, knowledge, and also probably empirical experiences from the home university in Bulgaria. That would be, a nice and fruitful discussion for sure. For this session, we'll give Prof. Ivanova time to deliver the materials first for about probably 45 minutes about that, but it could be flexible if later then we can come to discussion. So I invite all the participants' involvement, to take part. I think everyone is very enthusiastic to to get involved in the discussion later. And the participants in Zoom meeting, you could also throw questions through the chat box we've got. So feel free to deliver the questions. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to our speaker, Professor Ivanova, to deliver her speech. Time is yours.
Thank you very much for a great presentation. Well, I'm sure you can hear me. Hello to everyone online and hello to everyone here. So I have just one question. I understood here the left side, but I didn't understand your students at the university and your members of the faculty here of information and education. Okay, okay. So I know what my audience is. And also people who are online are students from the same faculty. Okay, great, great. So once again, thank you for having me here in Indonesia. It's perfect. I feel great. It's not hot. I'm okay. So I was thinking yesterday in the plane. In the plane, you know, there is a map of the world. So I start from Sofia. I fly to Dubai. Then I change planes, have a nap, and then I came all the way to Jakarta. So it's the whole world. I flew the whole world and I came here and I was looking around. It is a different world. It is a completely different world. So of course it's different. Of course I like it. But what is common between that world and the world here, the world I am from, and the world here is that all of us are trying to overcome the problem with COVID. We are trying to overcome one and the same problem which bothers us, probably less now, but still bothers us. So as educators, we have to try and understand what to do to be most useful, not to us, but to all the students. So probably you have noticed, I studied in Japan. I got my PhD in Japan. And the topic of my PhD is e-learning. So it was 10 years ago. It was a very long time ago. And e-learning was just the beginning right then. And at that point, I was thinking, oh, it's great. It's 100% great. If everything could be e-learning, it would be so easy. And then COVID came and I said, okay, it's my time. Okay, I will do it. Nothing like this happened because it's one time, one thing to write a thesis, to read papers, and completely different to put it into action. So I was shocked. So, okay, my thesis is on e-learning and I'm struggling with it. So what can people who do not know anything about e-learning do? Like those professors that have never utilized some kind of program platform. So I was wondering, okay, let's do it. And at Sophia University, we started using Moodle. Do you know what's Moodle? So at Sophia University, our learning platform is Moodle. So we started using Moodle. One thing, you have a whole team of specialists, including you, helping university professors with uploading files, making videos. At Sophia University, I have to do it by myself. I have the platform, but everything else, convert files, upload, I have to do by myself. We have very little help from administration. So we were really struggling. And because my colleagues told me, oh, your specialty is e-learning, you have to do it for me. You have to do it for me. Please help me. So I said, of course, let's think about it. And yes, we started using Moodle. There were many problems in the beginning, but more or less, after the pandemic struck, probably in 2 to 3 months, we were okay with e-learning. Probably it took us 3 months, both us educators and also students, to get used to it. Of course, during these 3 months, a lot of information was lost, a lot of time was lost, and I was thinking, okay, this will continue forever. But thank God we got all right. Students just also, they got used to it. And I was thinking, okay, that's it. Now is the time for e-learning. We'll do it and see what will happen. So we started planning it. No, can you hear me? So results were not what I expected them to be, because the change was so big. We lost communication with students. We lost our, of course, face-to-face communication, but we lost more. We lost emotions. We lost our contact. So I was thinking, okay, this pandemic will take a long, long time. So we will be so distant that students will not even listen to me. They will start, I will be so distant from them that it doesn't matter if I'm teaching or they are just listening to some video. So I was thinking, okay, technology is great. We can still teach online, but there is a lot we are missing. So as you already know, I'm teaching at Japanese Studies Department. Later on, I will show you a video to introduce my department, just like you showed me the video with Uhamka song. It was great. I liked it very much. Just very good presentation of Uham. Okay, so later on, I will show you a video. So I started wondering, what can I do? Of course, it's technology-based education, but what can I do within this education to get closer to students, not to lose the connection with students? So I came up with an idea. It's not a genius idea, but it worked very well. So I was teaching online using Moodle and sometimes using Zoom, just like now. But I noticed that my students were playing one particular online game. They were not playing the game in class, of course, but I could hear them talking about that game. And I was wondering, okay, I will not be able to see them, but probably I can take a look at the game, and from the game, I can get some knowledge to incorporate in my online class. So again, it's online, it's a video game. And again, it's Moodle, so it's 100% online, but there is the human contact that I was looking for. I thought I can find it in that video game. So my case, I will show you a presentation. I have worked on an article on how Among Us, this is the name of the game. Probably all of you know it. But Among Us helped me and some of my colleagues overcome the dangers of continuing lockdown and loss of information. So how the game helped me and my students continue to study and communicate effectively, although online, okay? Okay, so I'm going back. I think I will finish on time, don't worry. Japanology at Sophia University, we call it Japanology, Japanese Studies Department. Why I teach at Japanese Studies Department? Because I graduated from Japanese same department, and then I went to Tokyo, I got my PhD in Japan, and then I came back and started to work there. So my PhD is related to IT, sociology of Japan, and of course I teach language because I speak Japanese. So some information about the place I teach at, just like you gave me information about UHAMKA. It's unbelievable. I have been to so many campuses. How many campuses do you have in Jakarta? Yesterday I visited 3. This is number 4, I think, or 3. Okay, so it's a huge university and very strong university, I understand. My university, Sophia University, is a very old university. It's more than 130 years old, very old university. Of course, it doesn't have so many campuses because Bulgaria is a small country. Sofia is much smaller than Jakarta, but we have traditions. So we also have traditions at Japanese Studies Department. We started enrolling students in 1967, but at that time, just like Indonesia has some history of Japan and Holland in it, we have some history of Russia in Bulgaria. So Bulgaria was a communist country. It was closed for the West. So we could not really teach Western languages or Eastern languages. It was just linked to Russia, Bulgaria, Russia, that was it. But democracy came. So in 1990, Bulgaria, let's say, was open. Just like Indonesia, you were open in 1945, 45. So pretty much the same. In Bulgaria, we were open in 1990, and finally we could teach all kinds of languages and establish Japanology, Japanese department, we call it Japanology as a major. So in 2020, we celebrated 30 years of Japanology, and I have been part of this process for, let's say, 20 years, more than 20 years. We have numerous book translations, we have many specialists, and we have hundreds of projects, because probably in UHAMKA it's the same, but academic should teach, then should write articles, and also should find some money for projects for the university. Okay. So let me show you a short video about the place where I teach. It's 10 minutes. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. But as you know, thank you. As you know, if I'm only speaking, it won't be interesting. So we have to incorporate the video.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم.
Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. So you have to incorporate the video to grab attention and so on and so on. So that was Japanese studies at Sophia University, but let me go back to IT because I'm here for that. So as you remember, I told you that we started, I was thinking that probably the game Among Us will help us be more communicative or communicate on a higher level within Moodle or within online education. So
دوستان عزیز
all of
دقت
you
بفرمایید
know,
ببینید تمرینای صفحه 87 رو حل کردیم یا حل نکردیم. صفحه 87 رو ملاحظه بفرمایید ببینید تمرین‌ها رو حل کردیم یا نه.
it happens all the time. It's online education. It's okay. It happens all the time. Even in perfect Japanese companies, it happens all the time. So don't worry. It doesn't matter how many times you prepare, how much you do. In the end, it always happens. Don't worry. You know, I have a theory, just a joke. I have a theory that if you are worried about if the computer will cooperate, the computer understands and also gets very nervous. So the computer plays a trick on you. So don't worry, just leave the computer to do their jobs. So anyway, but you know, in Bulgaria, we have blackout, stop electricity very often. Of course, after that, internet stops. So it's complicated, but yes, don't be nervous. It will happen again. So just leave it. COVID-19 changed our academic routine, you know, especially in our department, students had to come to classes. They really had to. It's not by choice. They had to attend classes. When they are studying Japanese, especially, they cannot skip classes. So it's a kind of boutique department. We have around 100 students, and every year we welcome 35. So we know each other very well. We enjoy each other, we have fun. And all of a sudden, not only students, also teachers, we are not colleagues, we are friends. So we know everyone's children, we know everyone's let's say boyfriend or girlfriend. So we were communicating on a really good level apart from academic life. So all of a sudden it all stopped. So it just like you were separated from your relatives because of COVID. That's how we felt with my colleagues at university. So everything stopped. Teaching stopped, studying stopped. You cannot tell me that when COVID started, we continued doing something for 2 or 3 months. It was a complete mess. It was a stop. So projects stopped. So we were really wondering what to do and started using Moodle. So the human aspect of communication and social habits in education suffered a lot. So I noticed while I was teaching in Moodle that during breaks, my students were talking about a video game. Me, I'm not a fan of video games. To be honest, I have never played a video game. I know I look young, but I'm not so young. And when I was little, my mother, she always told me, no playing video games, switch off the TV, and so on and so on. So I have never played a video game. And since I have never played a video game, and I also have small children now, I thought video game cannot be any good for anything. Video game can only be bad. You get addicted to a video game. It wastes your time. Of course, it's online, so it's even more staying behind the screen. They study in Moodle. Why do they want to play video game again? What is it that the video game is giving them? So I started asking myself questions. I started asking them questions. What is it all about? And I also started doing research because at that time, Among Us was already popular, very popular. I don't know how many of you have heard about the game. Have you played the game? Oh, okay. Okay, so you can come here and let's talk. In talking. So, of course, as an academic, what's the way to do research? Of course, contribute questionnaires, make interviews, look for data mining, and so on and so on. So, next slide, please. So I distributed the questionnaire among the students, of course, online questionnaire, because I couldn't see them face to face and talk more about it. And what I found out is that video games were not so bad after all, in this case. I cannot make a conclusion about all video games. I'm talking about this particular one. So game developed skills, the skills my students developed in that particular game, they could be, I was not sure at that time, they could be put to good account in virtual classroom. So in Moodle, I could use some of the skills my students gained in Among Us and make the classroom atmosphere better. I will tell you how. So again, the game was a tool for cultivating effective online education communication, because online education communication is, let's say, 30% of normal education communication. You know, all of you, a lot of information is lost. So you don't really know if students are listening to you or not. Are you listening to me? Are you? So, okay. So also in the game, I was surprised that my students could cultivate some skills they could use in real life after the pandemic is over. Okay, next slide, please. So I know some of you told me that you have played the game, you know what the game is about. Just a second. Okay, no, that's it. Okay. So yeah, next one, please. Yeah. So for those of you who do not know what Among Us is, so it teaches us how to live together in one world. I will tell you why. In one virtual world, it keeps us together. So how is this? How does it happen? So the game, the very game has maps, which are called worlds. Imagine there is Indonesia, Bulgaria, and United States. So those maps define the space where the mini society exists. So in that map, imagine it's like a platform where you cannot escape and you have to communicate with the others. So moving, doing tasks, and observing suspicious behavior teaches players to coexist without being in each other's way, as well as to cooperate. So basically, in the game, you have one bad guy, and all of the others, they have to think of a strategy how to get rid of the bad guy, to discover who is the bad guy. So imagine all of you online, although you're online, you have to get together and think together so that you can survive, let's say survive. So although right now it will be very easy. If we are, all of us are thinking about one thing, one strategy, everyone will give ideas and we'll think of something right now face to face and we will write something and that's it. But online, there was no way for people to communicate, to give ideas. So I thought, okay, they have to have one goal and they will work and they will find the bad guy. Another thing, one world, one language. That game has its own language. It's something like, what is it? Made up language. So the students, all of them, they have to communicate in that special language and they have to share information. This is very typical of a normal face-to-face society. Okay, and then that language, well, it's not something great, but it's still video game language. But if they talk to each other, sometimes I cannot understand them. And that makes them even a stronger community. So that makes them even feel better, although online, without losing communication with each other. Okay, next slide, please. So if you take a look at the game and here the screen, those creatures, they are running here and there. And it may seem that they are running aimlessly, but the thing is, they have certain roles with the game, within the game. So they have to communicate effectively and they have to find who the bad guy is. But just like in a certain society, they have certain roles. So just like we have certain roles. And then also there is cooperation, how to find the bad guy. So those students, while playing the game, they have to communicate extensively. And the thing is, I found out that the students who were playing that game, they were exactly the same group of students I was teaching Japanese in fourth year bachelor's. So they missed so much face-to-face education. They made a group of their own, not other students, not other friends. They made a group of their own to communicate more and more. And yes, we also have debating, decision making, and responsibility. So yeah, next one, please. So how can we incorporate the skills from Among Us in the virtual classroom? I have written a lot about it. Probably I have already said it. We have to find suitable working platform. It doesn't have to be the platform our university offers us. Sometimes it can be very expensive, but in my case, first time I discovered Zoom, I paid by myself. Then I said to our department, probably it might be a good idea. So I found the game. I thought that it's a good platform. So I thought, okay, I have Moodle, but probably I can look for another platform. So I discovered Zoom. So please don't be happy with what university gives you as teaching platform. Probably there are better ones. Probably you can convince your boss to buy a better one. Okay. Then let's say after finding the best platform like the map on Among Us, Moodle in our case, or Zoom in our case, the quality of Japanese language online classes went up because students were sure this is their place. I was sure that I was using it correctly. So there were not so many problems like, oh, I cannot switch on my microphone or I don't have a camera. So everyone was okay. Then again, one language, the phrases they used in the game, they started using in the virtual classroom and it was very helpful because when you communicate online, you have to be very, what should I say? You cannot talk that much. You have to say a little and you have to be understood. And then also in the chat, probably there will be questions in Zoom. Also, they started using the words and the short words they learned from the game, okay? And then, okay, so this is special for Japanese studies. Just like in Among Us, in the virtual classroom, I appointed certain students, certain roles, so that we are not wasting time. In our case, we have 90-minute classes, 90 minutes. So we have so much to do. And when everybody has their role, it's not just me, teacher, and them students. I appoint students certain roles. And that way, everybody knows their place. They do not feel strange. So they are very active and they participate. For example, kanji master, kanji, you know, is a special Japanese way of writing. So I appoint somebody to be the kanji master and help the others read kanji very fast, for example, check the meaning and so on. So, and then last one, debating, decision-making and responsibility. As you know, students can be very shy when online and they do not participate. Not only shy, they can do whatever they want. I mean, they can sleep, just turn their camera off and so on and so on. But we are not policemen. Well, we do what we can do, but we cannot do everything. But if we try to put the virtual classroom in certain frame, students feel more interested and more secure, and they start to participate. So debating, decision-making, and responsibility, just like in the game, I told them, you're here, you're our small society, let's decide everybody. And I give them the floor just one by one. I ask them one by, and they know I will ask them one by one. And they are taking, yeah, they are really active in class, okay? I think that's pretty much, yes, that's pretty much it. As I have said today, I did not talk about certain IT platforms. I'm not sure what you expected me to do, but of course, there are many platforms and it's linked to a huge amount of money for university to invest also in specialists. So in your case, what is it? You use Zoom, what else do you use? Google Meet. And when you upload information for students, what do you send? Where do you put it? Google Drive or? Moodle-based again, okay. So the thing is, okay, we have IT platforms, different platforms. So your university and our university has chosen the same one. But the thing is, when it comes to IT enhanced education, it's not only about finding a good platform. You have to, within this kind of education, you have to find a way to continue communication within the society. Otherwise, it's lost. It's really, the loss of information is great. So I noticed that they were playing the game. I incorporated the game in my virtual classroom. They felt okay, they felt secure. Okay, we know what this is about. We will actively participate. And yes, we are patiently waiting the return to civilization when we can freely communicate face-to-face again. And then it's a very good lesson, because after we started face-to-face classes from May. So it was very strange for all of us. So I thought, okay, we started face-to-face classes, but students are so used to online communication. I started doing it 50-50. So I started doing it 50% online and then 50% face-to-face. And little by little, we will get to 100% face-to-face. But yes, people are shocked of the sudden change. So coming back to normal lectures should be gradual. Otherwise, it's exactly what happened when online education started. Just the other way around. Students are shocked. I have forgotten what to do in the classroom. I have forgotten, what should I say? Should I smile? So yes, probably online education started abruptly, sharply, but going back to face-to-face education, we can control. And of course, we can utilize and use the systems we learned to use. It was not necessarily a bad experience. It was a good experience, and we can utilize it in the future. So thank you very much for your attention. I think I just managed to finish in 45 minutes. So thank you once again.
All right, give great applause to Professor Ivanova. For the audience online, could we also have your online applause to make sure that everyone is still there as well? Yeah. Yeah. Here they are. All right, thank you very much, Professor Ivanova, for delivering your materials, dealing with your experiences, during the pandemic era, where I think the same case happens here, The staffs here also struggled to adjust to the situation, and you shared your experiences by particularly sharing experiences of using Among Us as one of the interactive game. But I think everyone could contextualize the materials to our own context. As we are coming from different departments or fields, then you may, draw on the things in common, from what the Professor Ivanova shared. So I'm inviting everyone's questions. I'm sure everyone has got questions after listening to the explanation. All right. Okay. The first chance is for Rita Sensei, and then Jumardi after that. And we will take the first two. Questions first. After this, we'll see questions from the audience online. Sensei Rita, please.
Thank you, Mr. Silly. May I first asking to you, I can speak English fluently. May I ask in Japanese language? Nanti diterjemahin ke bahasa
I will
Indonesia.
translate in Indonesian.
I think that's fine. You can use Japanese, and then Prof. Ivanova will translate that.
Okay. Among us game wa omoshiroi to omoimasu. Among to you know Indonesia de collaboration to imasu. Among us no jugyo wa kanji no jugyo desu ne. Watashi no kochira wa kanji no sensei desu. Yuni sensei to Tsuruni sensei wa kanji no sensei desu. Kanji no jugyo de 学生たちはいろいろな力が持っていますね。良い能力は問題がいませんが、でも悪いじゃなくて悪い能力があったらトリートメントはどうですかこの Among Us game. Boleh saya terjemahkan ke dalam bahasa Indonesia?
I think
Okay,
Prof.
okay,
Ivanova
thank
will summarize.
Okay, terima kasih.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you for your question. As you know, I teach some Japanese. So in Japanese language, there is kanji, like Chinese characters that are very complicated. So here there are some teachers in kanji. Kawaii. Okay, so I respect them very much because I love grammar, but that's another problem. So the question was, when there was problem with kanji, because of online education, learning writing or way of writing is very difficult. So what was my solution through Among Us when it came to kanji? This was your question, right? So to be honest, Among Us and online education is the worst when it comes to kanji. So I was thinking, what should I do? And as you notice, I appointed kanji master. Kanji master is one student from the class on a rotational basis. Every week, it's a different student. So with that student, I communicate in advance. I send materials in advance. So I personally spend time without being paid with that student, and I send the materials. So I work with the student in advance. So one student and me, we know the kanji for next lesson. So I have a helper inside the group. So with that helper, every week it's a different one. So with that helper, we work together. So I have, let's say, another teacher online. So, and then after that, if there are some questions and they are nervous to ask me, they can ask their friend. They can always ask their friend, because I have one face-to-face lesson. Their friend knows exactly what it is. So their friend can help them. That's the way I did it. わかりましたか? 大丈夫ですか?
はい、わかりました。
Okay,
説明がどうもありがとうござい
okay.
ます。
So this is what I thought of. Probably there are better ways. Probably you can think of better ways. But yes, kanji suffered. Handwriting suffered. So I asked them to write their homework, not typing, but in hand. Take a picture and send to me. So I sometimes print it out and correct it also by hand, so they can see I'm also doing my best. So, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Arigato gozaimasu. Sensei. Yeah.
Terima kasih, Mr. Silly.
Yeah, I think it's a good experience sharing in teaching kanji, which is complicated. And I'm sure, okay, Pak Jumardi, we call Sir as Pak in Indonesia. Yeah. Sir Jumardi, please.
Don't understand, Mas. Yes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Miss Innova. Now it's about the Moodle. Regarding to your information of Moodle in your university,
Okay.
and would you mind to share more info about?
Okay. Would you like me to show it to you? I can show it.
Sure.
Okay.
Siap.
You know, it's IT. It's the best way to show. No words.
Yeah, please.
It's called Sophia University e-learning. And to be honest, when I wrote my thesis, I had my own spelling for e-learning. And in my spelling is small e dash learning, because I believe that learning is as important as e. So I write it in my thesis, I have written it in small letters. So that's, I'm sorry, that's Bulgarian language. Can I move this one? Okay, so that's how it looks like. Here, is it the same? Okay, this is Sofia University, and here I have different faculties. So I log in. Can I log in from Indonesia? I hope so. Now my students will see that I'm online. They will start asking, okay. Okay, so this is my dashboard here. This is my dashboard. And here I have my disciplines for this semester. I'm teaching translator, Japanese literature, Japanese language, then Japanese, whatever. So these are my disciplines. So I open one of them. Let's see this one. And here I have all the materials I have uploaded week by week. Week by week. For example, let me see, but I'm not sure. No, we don't have. Oh, okay, okay. Okay. It doesn't change much. But okay, once again, so these are my classes. I open one class, and these are materials I have uploaded week by week. First week, we studied this. In Sofia, we have 15 weeks. 15 weeks per semester. How many do you have here? 16. Okay, so in Sofia, we have 15 weeks per semester. So this is, for example, March 7th, we studied clothing, Japanese traditional clothing. So I uploaded PDF. I uploaded PDF, and if I click, you can see the PDF. See, this is Japanese traditional clothing for Nipponica. Okay, and also, let me show you the classroom. So I have virtual classroom. Huh? Why did it become so big? I probably touched it. And so this is my classroom. It's called Big Blue Button. What is it? You're called, okay. And of course, the conference room is ready, but there is no one there because we have no class. So I joined session. Is it the same? Join session. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. That's it. Pretty much that's it. And here, after I join the session, yeah, it takes some time, but there will be microphone now. Okay, so anyway, I have microphone, I have a camera, and I have a screen share. That's it. That's it, pretty much that's it. Is it okay? Does this give an answer to your question? But not only Moodle. I use Zoom very often. I use Meet, Google Meets very often. And as I told you, I use video games from time to time. I very often use videos like movies, very often also. But and many things. Okay, is it the same in Okamka? Absolutely the same.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. And I can upload many things. You know, there are many instruments, so I can make tests. I can make tests, upload tests, make exams, online exams, put limit to timing. Also, when they submit their reports. Now, there's so many instruments. It's good. once you get used to it, because it took me 2 months to get used to it, but more than also with colleagues, we can cooperate, share tests, like everything we can do. And that's the point. Right now, we can use it even if there is no COVID. So, yeah. Okay.
All right. Does it answer your questions? Yeah. Thank you. Before we go on, allow me to give chance to the audience online. They might have questions before we go to another question from this room. Yeah.
No. I incorporate the game in Moodle. No. They were playing the game by themselves outside of class. Outside of class. Yes, because I wouldn't play video game in class. But anyway, so outside of class, they were playing the game. And then I took the results in my classroom.
All right. Thank you. And we can like compare and contrast some features that are similar to the platform. We have the online platform named Olu, Online Learning UHAMKA. Thank you, Pak Jum. And we've got one participant raising hand there, Pak Budi Suhardi from Geography Education. Yeah,
Hello.
Pak Budi, please. You may activate your microphone and ask questions.
Turn on your mic.
Yeah.
Or
Activate your microphone or turn on, diaktifkan Kak. Yeah,
okay.
please.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Silhoni. Welcome to Jakarta,
Thank you.
Madam Ivanova, PhD.
Thank you. Thank you.
I present, my name is Budi Sohadi from Geographical Education Direction. I would like to ask you two questions. If I read your slide, COVID-19 changed academic routine, abrupt half of our well-oiled system of teaching. I don't know what it means, and if you have a more explain about this,
Okay.
and how to take the solution for this your comment. And
Okay.
secondly, my question: how the lecture and the easy for teaching Japanese language in your country? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me see if I understood the question. So the question is, once again, how COVID changed way of teaching in my department? Is this the question? Is it correct?
Yes.
Yes. So what happened exactly? I remember very well. So the thing is, March 8th, I think it was March 8th, 2020, right? 2019, Bulgaria was closed. It was complete. We could not go outside. We were locked, not locked, but we could not go outside. So immediately we did not want to lose time. So immediately all the students were informed that they will have online classes, but nobody knew what that means because we waited for university to send us away a platform. So first thing I did, here in Indonesia, you are using WhatsApp. In Europe, in Bulgaria, we are using Facebook and also Facebook Messenger. Do you know Facebook Messenger? Mm-hmm. So first thing I did was call my students on Facebook Messenger. And I told them, please wait. And while you are waiting, please read this and this. Of course, they have their textbooks. So I did not waste even 1 week. So immediately I started communicating with Messenger. And probably 3 weeks later, Moodle was constructed. So we started using Moodle, but it was very slow because we did not know the system. Students did not know the system. So to answer your question, 3 weeks after March 8th, we had our platform, but it took us another 2 months to get use of platform, but lectures never stopped in my case. Probably some professors that are lazy, they did not conduct lectures. But in my case, I thought, okay, so we are young people. Those people communicate via social media. So I will use this social media right now for lectures. So this is it. 2 weeks or 3 weeks of Messenger. And after that, slowly, first we started using the classroom, and then little by little, presentations, homeworks, and so on, so on. Thank you, thank you. But you know, even now there is problem with Moodle sometimes. If too many people use it, if too many cameras are switched on, of course, but we got used to it. And if there is a problem, we tell each other, so we immediately switch to Zoom, or immediately, we are not wasting time. We are not being lazy. Yeah. Because we have a curriculum to finish. And those students.
The second question is not your answer. The second question. The lack and the easy in teaching Japanese language in your country.
I'm sorry, teaching Japanese language in my department.
Yeah.
Is it
easy or difficult?
Is it easy? It's 100% easy because because all of us, we are really good friends. In my department, probably in the movie, it doesn't matter. There are 7. We are only 7 people in our department. 4 girls, 4 ladies. We are really good friends, and we match. For example, if history is about certain period, if history is about Heian, I will choose some old letters from Heian. And so we match our curriculum. So, and students in Bulgaria are interested in Japan. So I think they are motivated. So thank you very much. Thank you for your question.
Welcome.
Thank you, Budi Suhadi, for the questions, and all have been answered. Can we give another chance for Pak Zulherman? He is one of the lecturer who is now undergoing his PhD in Malaysia. So he is there in Malaysia.
What's the time in Malaysia?
Pak Zulherman, please.
Hello. It's your role. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Siliwardi, for the opportunity for me. Hello, Prof. I am Zulherman from the primary school teacher education program at UHAPKA. Online learning has brought a change in learning style to be more online learning has brought the change in learning style to be more effective with technology. So a lot of research related to the theory of the technology acceptance model, or the so-called TAM model. So this is I have a question for this session. The first, is there still a lot of enthusiasm for the use of technology after pandemic? The second, how can the blended learning method be effective after the pandemic? Thanks all for the feedback.
Thank you. Thank you. As I told in the beginning, the topic of my PhD thesis was e-learning in Japanese companies. It was aimed at how Japanese companies train their hires, through e-learning. And 10 years ago, as I already mentioned, I was really all about it. But when it comes to university education, and especially high school and lower elementary, it's almost not a good idea to use 100% of e-learning. It goes from little children to older. Little children, they should not be exposed to that much of e-learning. It's even harmful for their health, So about your question about the enthusiasm, yes. After we try something, after we use it for a long time, we see the good parts of it, we see the bad parts of it. So right now, my personal opinion is no, and also answering your second question, it should be blended learning. It should be, because if you lose communication, society is gone. Then also there are some psychological moments about it, all of you know. So blended learning should be utilized. And if you're asking me about percentage, it should be 50-50. It should be 50-50. Probably 60-40, but it depends on the age and the aim of the learners, probably. And from now on, whenever we have the chance, because it will be a rare chance, I'm not sure what will happen next years, but whenever we have the chance, of course, 100% face-to-face, but it will be a very rare chance, I think. COVID changed our way of learning and teaching forever. Yeah, did I answer your question?
All right. Thank you, Pak
Thank
Zulherman.
you. What's the time in Malaysia? What's the time?
It's an hour ahead, isn't it?
Just let him speak. Sorry, just a second. He cannot turn on his mic.
Turn on your microphone.
Okay. How is it in Malaysia? What's the time?
12 EM.
12, yeah.
Okay.
1 hour ahead. Yeah. Thank you, Pak Zulherman, for stressing this very crucial
Have a great
point,
lunch. Have a great lunch.
of blended learning. And I do agree with that, that no single sophisticated technology could replace the presence of the teacher. Yeah?
Of course. It's all in fantastic books.
Yeah, and UMK is going to have that face-to-face class very soon, ya, Bu. Today at 1, ya, jam 1, we are going to discuss about the face-to-face meeting.
Okay.
All right.
I wish you good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
And a lot of motivated students to answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are. Next, Bu Yani, who has raised hand before. Bu Yani, please.
Okay, good morning. Ibu Ivanova, may I? Yes, I'm Yani, I'm from English department. And then I have 2 questions related to the games, how to involve a game in our teaching. And then maybe it is always related to our goals, right? It is always related to the lesson plan that we have already made before. And then I was wondering how to, to involve the games, as you told us that you ask students to play the game before the class, and then you include the debating, the discussing to the material that you have already planned. How to mix that? That is the first
Okay,
question.
understand. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I have found your publication is about the identifying challenging to foreign language education with the Pure College. So maybe you can share us about the result of the research about the challenges.
Is this in the humanities? Challenges in the humanities, crisis?
Foreign language education and designing strategies.
Okay.
Designing strategies with 4 of your college.
Yeah,
maybe,
right.
Maybe the result you can share the result with us,
Okay.
and maybe we
Yeah.
have the same context, right?
Probably. Yeah.
Yes.
It's 2019, I
19,
think.
2019.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
So first question, what I do is not incorporate the very playing of the game in my class, I incorporate the habits they have developed in the game. So when they play the game, they start to talk to each other shortly, for example, because this is the game. It's a special short language day. So what I do is, in my class, please use those short letters or marks or words you use when you play the game. And because all of them know that, all of them know the rules or the words of the game, in my class, they can easily talk or give their opinion. For example, in the game, let's say in their language, exclamation mark means raised hand or I want to say something. So when I see exclamation mark in the chat, I know that person has, it doesn't have to raise hand, has opinion, but also not only that, of course in Moodle they can raise hand, but not only that, in the game, exclamation mark means I have a different opinion. So I know I can give that person more time to express their different opinion. For example, this is just, so it's not the very game I'm incorporating, it's the habits they have, the habit they have from the game. Or for example, in the game, you have one responsible person for cleaning. Let's say, let's just give an example. So in my class, I have one responsible person for kanji, as I said, and they know that very well. They have to be responsible. They have to attend a meeting with me, and then they have to in class. So because in video games, while playing, of course, you learn many things, but I try to get the good habits of the game and put them in the virtual class because they already have the habits, they are used to them. It's not something I'm saying. If I'm saying do this, do that, it's not usually a good way of putting things. But if they play the game, if they enjoy the game, if they know the rules of the game, then in the classroom, they gladly use the same rules. And because I know the rules, yes, I played the game since first video game in my life, but because I know the rules, it's not that my classroom becomes a game, it's just a little bit more pleasant. That's it. And second question, does that give an answer to your first question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Because one of my students right now is still working on try to find the learning point from the games.
Okay.
And then he tries to find out what we can do with the game in our classroom activities.
Okay.
And then what they can learn from the game for English learning, especially
Right.
because in online learning, most of students still, they busy with their own work.
Yeah.
Even though we have face-to-face
I see.
a virtual meeting. So yeah, so we try to find out that they may find something different, and then they can learn by themselves as autonomous learner, right?
Right,
So,
right.
so therefore, we try to find out what kind of games. What I've got from your explanation, I thought we have particular games that we can involve in our learning activities.
No.
So we focus on more the habit of the game.
Correct,
right?
correct.
Okay.
The
That
habit
is the
of
point.
this particular game,
Yeah.
because this particular game is constructed like a society. So a society works as a classroom. So,
Okay.
and everybody is, let's say, helping each other. They know their role. So those rules can be applied to the virtual classroom. And in this case, because again, we have no time. In this case, they feel okay, they feel secure, they know how it is. It's not about a certain, let's say, Japanese grammar pattern but I'm sure if you think more about it, and probably different video game, of course it can contribute to, let's say, English tenses, past, future. I don't know. I'm just. So that's it. That's it.
It will relate to the assessment, right? So at the end, we have to assess them. We have to give a score or something like that.
Correct. But in this case, it's about let's say virtual classroom, pleasant behavior or pleasant atmosphere, or to diminish the shock of 100% online, something like that. If I have to put, I also have my paper. Probably I can give you the methodology and results for your. Or you can also check it. I think it's online.
That's a good beginning, and then you could go further with more collaboration. And the second question, the challenges.
Oh my God, I have forgotten this article. What was it about? Probably I have conclusions there.
Probably just a brief, what is findings or conclusion.
The thing is that I think overall humanities are dying. Not dying, it's a very strong word, but the word is open to IT, to mathematics. Everybody thinks that humanities are lack of time. So what we are trying to prove is that humanities is the basics of everything. So you have to go through certain skills from the humanities department in order to be able to grow as a successful academic or university student or even a person. But I worked on this article a long time ago, but pretty much, yes. So I haven't forgotten, but yes, in one sentence, we are afraid that people do not understand the importance of humanities nowadays. But and we are discussing the points on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I think all questions have been answered very comprehensively with the, emphasized point of humanity. I think it's very good a point to close this. And there are still some people are willing to ask questions, but time is over. We have very limited time. Could you please?
You can send me the questions. I will try to answer to everyone.
Sure.
Not I will try. I will answer to everyone.
All right. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for taking part in this discussion. And thanks a lot for your sharing and perspectives. I think everyone could take the lessons regardless our study programs. We could take the good lessons of the use of technology, no matter how sophisticated it is, no matter how much benefit that it gives, it should be used wisely, and we should take into account the humanity.
Delicately, it should be used delicately.
All right. Thank you very much. And this is the end of our seminar and discussions. And I'll give the time back to Rita Sensei. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu hadirin semua, terima kasih kami ucapkan kepada Profesor Ivanova yang telah memaparkan paparannya dengan sangat menarik, yaitu bagaimana kita belajar dari game yang bernama Among Us, sehingga kita semua walaupun di online tidak mengenal satu sama dengan yang lain, tetapi terhubung sehingga dapat menyelesaikan satu titik atau satu masalah. Terima kasih juga kami ucapkan kepada moderator kita, Bapak Silih Warni PhD, yang telah memoderatori paparan materi kita hari ini.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that marked the end of Visiting Professor for Technology and Change Learning by Professor Petomiria Ivanova, PhD, Erasmus Plus Program, Sofia University, St. Clement Ohridski, Bulgaria. And thank you to the moderator, Mr. Siliwarni, PhD. And let's go to the end of the session. The following agenda is giving souvenir for faculty, from the faculty for Professor Petomiria Ivanova, PhD.
Ya, Ivanova Sensei, honton itu mo arigatou gozaimasu. Sasin. Hai. Pak Dekan, mohon maaf, Mas Armi datang minta diulang untuk dokumentasi. Mas Arminya dokumen Pak Dekan. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia, demikianlah rangkaian acara Visiting Professor for Technology Enhancement Learning oleh Profesor Petomiria from Erasmus Plus Sofia University St. Clement Ohridski, Bulgaria. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Dekan, Bapak Ibu Wakil Dekan, dan Bapak Ibu Kaprodi dan Sekprodi, serta Bapak Ibu dosen dan rekan-rekan mahasiswa yang telah menyimak acara dari awal hingga akhir. Sebelum kita akhiri, izinkan untuk mendokumentasikan kegiatan. Kita ada 3 slide. Mohon Bapak dan Ibu untuk on kamera. Kita mulai dari slide pertama. Mas Sumar, mohon izin. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu, kita mulai dari slide pertama. Mohon untuk on kamera terlebih dahulu, Bapak dan Ibu dan rekan-rekan mahasiswa. Baik, selanjutnya slide kedua. Berikutnya slide ketiga. Baik, terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu semua. Saya atas nama MC mengucapkan mohon maaf apabila ada salah kata. Akhir kata saya mengucapkan terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
As our farewell bid, we do hope the productive and inspiring national conference we had today will give you a great memory of national webinar, and that memory will be invited to you back to another research conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the end of the event. On behalf of committee, we would like to extend once again our deepest appreciation to all your support and participation. We wish you a safe journey back home. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Ibu Bapak yang ada di ruang Zoom. Selesai sudah. Terima kasih dan terima kasih. Silakan langsung di